Okay, let's go.
Hello there, Chick Chatters. We are back with Story of the Week, and we're here with another Am I the Asshole, which is Brooke's favorite.
Yay!
So don't mind the man in the back. So this is 12 hours ago, and it's an NSFW story. It already has that warning on it. So
Spicy one.
Spicy, a little bit. I don't know how spicy, but okay. Titled, Am I the Asshole for Not Warning My Wife About My Ass Rag?
Did you just say ass rag?
I did.
Okay. Just checking.
Yep, I'm still speaking English. It says, okay, context. My wife is weird about butt stuff. I'm not talking about actual butt stuff. That's obviously personal and up to the individual. I mean her unwillingness to acknowledge that anything comes out of butts or that people even have buttholes. What a beginning sentence. When we bought our house, I wanted to install a bidet, but my wife was against it. I told her that she doesn't have to use it, but she said just seeing it would gross her out. I mentioned not feeling clean just from wiping with paper, and she didn't understand. Not everyone has naturally hairless assholes that barely require wiping. She asked if I could find an alternative. I said I could use wet wipes, but they're not flushable. None of them are, by the way. So they'd have to go in the trash. And she didn't like the idea of poopy things in the trash can and told me to figure out something else and that she didn't have to know about it. So on to my ass rag. I took an old towel, tore it up, and installed a discreet hook behind the toilet to hang the rag. It's completely hidden. The way our bathroom is set up, we only have one. The sink is right next to the toilet. So I'm able to wet the rag, clean up, wash it in the sink, and hang it back up. I swap it out a couple times a week. Gross? Maybe. But I figured that's my business since my wife didn't want to hear about my butthole cleaning habits. Recently, my wife and I were showering together and she forgot to bring in a washcloth for herself. I don't use one. I use a sisal pouch with a soap bar. Have you heard of that? A sisal? Is it sisal or sisal? Am I saying that right?
I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I'm not sure if this is even what he's talking about, but I know that I just call it like a little bag. It's got like those kind of scrubby exfoliators on the outside, and you just drop a soap in there.
Maybe that's what he means.
I'm
Sorry, Chick
thinking.
Chatters, if I don't know the word sizzle, sizzle. I don't know. I use loofahs and washcloths and things. Like, I don't know. So
Right.
I've never heard that before. But he says, I offered to hop out and grab her a washcloth, but she said, no, don't worry about it. I'll just use yours, and reached for my ass rag. I said, you don't want to use that. She asked why. I said, just trust me. She kept pushing. So I came clean about my ass rag. She was horrified, started dry heaving, and kicked me out of the shower. Apparently, she had been using it as a washcloth for years whenever she forgot hers, which is often. What I don't get is how she thought that was my washcloth because A, it's hidden behind the freaking toilet, and B, she knows I don't use a washcloth. We got into an argument. From my perspective, it was obvious that it was my ass rag and it wasn't a washcloth. All bets were off when you use someone else's shit without asking. And her butthole hangup is interfering with my personal hygiene. From her perspective, I violated a clear boundary she set years ago. And I'm just an overall gross person. I did apologize, but I was upset and my apology wasn't really sincere. I'm sleeping on the couch right now to try to give her some space, but I'd like to know if I owe her a more sincere apology over this ass rag fiasco. I'm really not sure, and her reaction has me thinking that maybe I actually am disgusting and I'm lacking the perspective to see it. But I also don't think her butthole aversion is normal, and it's the main reason I ended up resorting to the ass rag solution in the first place and not telling her about it. That's how he ends it, and he's not asking the question at the end like normally we see. But is he the asshole?
I don't even know where to start here. What is with this butthole aversion? I don't get it. Do they have kids? I mean, she's going to have to face this fear at some point.
That's what I was wondering too, is if they had kids, because you can't
Like
first.
more than an aversion. This sounds like a phobia. She can't even think about a butthole. I get it. They're not cute things to think about, but it's not like they don't exist. And I think the husband is right that if he needs to be more clean down there, then he needs to be more clean down there. And he needs to figure out a way. I thought they should have just done the bidet situation.
They
I
really
don't
should
know
have.
why she told him to do what you have to do. Just don't tell me about it. Because that just right there is permission to do dirty things.
Yeah.
Are not well thought out and not hygienic. Because that, I'm sorry, but your ass rag is not hygienic. That shit is disgusting. He's hanging it behind the toilet. Is that what I heard?
He's hanging it behind the toilet and then he washes it after every use in the sink. But it's still not the most
So you
cleanly
got
thing.
shit on your hands. You got shit in the sink where you clean your mouth. You got shit behind the toilet where you shit. And I know I'm a pretty clean person, but the behind my toilet is always dusty, always has some hair, always has a spider or something. That is the worst solution ever. His original solution was premium. Get a bidet, call it a day.
Honestly, and I would have just got it anyways without her. I feel like this girl might need a little bit of information on what a bidet really does. Doesn't it just shoot water up there? Like the bidet doesn't get dirty.
No, it's just a water sprayer. I mean, you probably would want to spray it with bleach or alcohol or something consistently, but not
Right, but
daily
you
or
can
anything.
well, you can do that when you clean your toilet, like you just should normally
Yeah,
be cleaning your
it's
toilet.
just a little. I don't have one, but I've seen a lot of people have just the little ones you can buy on Amazon now. They just sit on the side of your toilet bowl, and then there's like a fucking button you press. I'm swearing a lot today. Sorry, chick chatters.
Piggybacking off of what you said earlier, you said, well, when they have kids, they're gonna have to deal with butts.
Holes.
And that's all a child is when they first come out is a butt and a mouth. Like it's all that you have to take care of is feeding the mouth and cleaning the butt.
It's true. It's
All it is
I
for
just
like the first year.
I think they're both wrong. I think they're both being assholes.
Okay, so we got an everybody sucks here.
And we got a what is it called? Pun. They're both being assholes in the asshole thing.
I would say I agree with you. I think they're both the asshole. I think she's being a little bit unrealistic.
Why?
I was gonna say, like, be thankful that your man even cares to wash his butt. You know how many guys will just be like, "Oh, then man, whatever." Some guys are just dirty because they don't take care of that kind of stuff.
I swear.
Be thankful that he's taking the initiative to make sure his butt is clean. He's
Where?
not going about it very well, but it's because you've limited his options. And you give a man limited options, they're gonna do some weird stuff.
Especially when you say, I don't want to know about it. I feel like that's just permission for them to no boundaries. I can just figure this out on my own. Not a good idea, especially when it comes to bathrooms and buttholes. See, this is the thing is the buttholes and the bathrooms and the poop towels, all this stuff, it still exists whether you want it to exist or not. And because of the fact that you're acting like it doesn't exist, you have all this weird stuff going on. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Nobody in the world has to deal with their husband's butthole towels except for you because you think buttholes cease to exist. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, what do you expect him to like take a shower after every crap? There's no other way to clean his butt that you're leaving him other than
True. If he's got a lot of hair going on down there, I could appreciate it's probably difficult. And you know what? Nobody wants him walking around smelling all stinky or being all itchy.
Yeah, that's why I'm not as mad at the guy because he was given limited options. And I'm not gonna lie, guys are gonna try to find the simplest but out of the box option that they can. Like if I was to give Dean the same ultimatum, this exact same situation, he would have done the exact same thing.
I could see Tyler doing this too if I said this to him, which is why I'm kind of like, you know, nobody else in the world has this problem except for you because you have created this problem by thinking that human anatomy doesn't exist. You're not living in reality, then you're living in the world of butthole towels. And I'm sorry for you about that because nobody deserves that, especially when you think you're just in the shower like, oh, I forgot my washcloth. Let me just grab the one. Okay, from behind the toilet, never.
I was just gonna say, what was this woman even doing thinking that she's gonna grab a wash towel from behind the toilet every single time and oh, that's his wash rag. What do you think he's washing it with?
I don't even care. That is like, I don't know, maybe their bathroom is structured differently in most of the bathrooms I've seen, and not every single one, but the toilet's right up against the wall, you know? It's like there's probably this much space between the toilet and the wall, and it's always dusty, crusty, spiderwebby. Even when you dust the spiderweb decrust.
Yeah, I need to see this bathroom, just like I need to see the apartment in the last one. I need to see the layout. I know y'all were coming for us about this whole not knowing how apartments are laid out or whatever y'all were coming for us for. This is the word ensuite threw me off. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, but now I know what things are, and now I know they were just basically roommates. Okay, now I'll put that to bed. I had to say it. But just like that, I'm not sure what their bathroom is set up like because hiding a wash rag behind the toilet, like you said, there's no room usually, and there's no room behind either toilet that I have. So I'm wondering where he's playing.
Can you go back? Did he say he carved out space? Because now I'm feeling like I heard.
He said he hung up a hook. Said the way our bathroom is set up, the sink is right next to the toilet. That's how mine's set up too. He installed a discreet hook behind the toilet to hang the rag. So it doesn't sound like he cut into the wall at all. It just sounds like he threw up a random hook from Myers. Yeah, just threw
I can even get one back there. That's got to be difficult. I don't know. I don't like this idea.
The thing is low to the ground because usually there's like the tank of the toilet is against the wall, and then there's some space.
There's space back there. Oh God, that space is even worse.
That's what I was thinking.
Tyler's pee goes back there when I don't clean it. It's disgusting.
I wouldn't be picking up rags from there to use on my face.
Do you know what I would do? I would go get my fiance and say, "Can you get whatever weird towels hanging from back?"
Well, it's the same towel, right? So she hasn't once been like, "You don't need to wash this towel. This towel doesn't need to go through the washer machine."
Towel. I get that you're washing it out in the sink, which I also have a major problem with. But
yeah,
it's got to be crunchy when it dries again, and then you're putting in this.
It's got to be a little bit smelly too. And I know bathrooms aren't usually the best smelling things, but if you're using a butt towel all the time and it's the same towel, it's eventually going to build up some type of bacteria, some type of smell, you would think. And then
probably even musty and crusty and dusty and stinky.
I'm sorry, but she's a little bit more the asshole to me than him because
I agree.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna pick up this crusty washcloth and be like, ew, I don't want to put this on my face. Like, why would she? Like, she just puts it on there, doesn't smell it or nothing. Like,
how many times has this woman gotten pink eye in the last year? Is what I really want to know.
That is such a good point. That's my biggest question. And when I post this video underneath the comments, that's gonna be my question. Is we want to know.
Yeah, or I don't know, a yeast of, something. You can't just be rubbing poop all over you, even if it's washed out in the sink. I just don't even think that does anything except for spread it all around everywhere.
Might rinse the cloth off a little bit. I agree with you, though.
I think desperate times call for desperate measures. This husband was in a bad situation. However, I just cannot fathom the solution. But I also agree, I could totally see my fiance doing it. I could totally see Dean doing it if we were to set these ridiculous boundaries that your butthole doesn't exist. So I don't know. I'm perplexed.
He's cut up towels before. He's cut up towels for many other stupid things. And I'm like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, whatever. But like you said, her saying, don't tell me about it, that's not the solution.
No.
If you're going to give somebody no options, you might want to know what they're going to pick as their option. Especially if you have this big of a phobia about it where you can't even get a bidet. You probably can't even have a child. Can't have a dog. What is this? Where to go? I need to know if she has kids, because if she has kids and it's still like this, is he changing every diaper? How else is this? What happens if somebody farts? Because that comes out of the butt.
It does, right out of the butthole, which is what she's so terrified of.
But when someone farts, does she gag? What happens if she farts? What happens when she goes to the bathroom?
She was gagging at the thought of this butt towel, but then again, my belly hurts right now, so I don't blame her, and I don't even have a phobia. So you're right. I guess I can't diagnose this lady. I don't know that she has a phobia, but it sounds like it. That's just really, really extreme.
That's above having just like preference of I don't want an ass rag in here. But I don't know, like
my
separate bathroom then.
My grandpa's wife, she's very feminine, and she doesn't like anything that has to do with stinky things or butts. Like she doesn't even like the word toot instead of fart. She prefers the word fluff, especially for women. Like girls don't fart, they fluff. Like she's told me that since I was a small child. But she's not denying that we fart. He just wants it to be prettier. It's excessive.
That's so funny that your grandma used to say that, and my grandma used to tell me, I'm not fat, I'm fluffy.
Oh my god. Fluffy is like such a word. It's like their worst bad word.
alternate word for them.
Fluff.
So let's go to our top comment so far, because mind you, this was only posted 12 hours ago. So top comment says, I see the problem. How are you supposed to warn her about something she doesn't want to know about? She could have asked, hey, what's that washcloth behind the toilet? It's very unfortunate that she has been using your ass rag as a washcloth, but also it couldn't have been gross or anything since she had no problem using it. So clearly it didn't smell or have poop stains on it. I don't see much way around this whole extreme aversion to the knowledge that things come out of your butt. I really hope y'all aren't planning on having kids without having a second toilet for you to use with a bidet or an ass rag. I'm with them. Get a second bathroom.
That's a good solution. Perfect solution.
Move somewhere where you have a second bathroom.
We always end in divorce in these stories, and this is not the case.
No, I don't think this is a huge issue in their relationship. I think this is something that can be worked through. And I think that this wife needs to come to some realizations. If they don't have kids, having kids is going to definitely change her view on this whole butt thing. Because once you become a mom, you're used to seeing everything. I mean, I be working with some moms sometimes and people be throwing up and the moms run right out there. And I'm like, ugh, and they're like, I've seen it all. I have children.
Right. It's like a different level of life that you achieve at that point, no matter how old you are or young.
Yeah, moms can do anything, look at anything. You become a superhuman once you become a parent. And you look at some gross stuff. I mean, if your kid's got an issue, if they've been hurt, if they poop up their back, babies poop up their back all the time.
All the time, those
and who knows how it gets up there? I don't know.
Velocity. It's just like
yeah, gravity with babies is so different than a normal person. Normal people just
usually they're laying on their back, and so if it doesn't have anywhere else to go in there, it's gonna go up. But this is not the spicy story I thought we were talking about today.
I know. I was like, I could have saved this for a guy's night. So OP actually responded to top comment. So OP says, definitely no kids, not something either of us want. And I've had to leave for work and drive 45 minutes out to my sister-in-law's place when she was babysitting because she didn't realize our niece was still in diapers. But oh my God, lady. But I think she might be open to therapy because she's starting to come around to the idea that she probably has OCD. There are a lot of more indicators besides the butt aversion. In the meantime, I'll try to be more accommodating and maybe just bring the rag in and out of the bathroom with me, ? We're saving up to put in a second bathroom anyway. I do clean the rag pretty thoroughly after each use, and I use it after I've wiped as much as I can with paper so it doesn't get super dirty anyways. Okay, but it's still sitting underneath the toilet on the wall. I'm sorry, but even if
where else are you going to put it now? If you're saying you're going to take out of the bathroom with you, are you going to put it in your pocket? Are you going to put it in your
nightstand?
Take it outside? Like, what are you going to do with it now? And then you poor guy, you have to walk around every time you have to poop to find your poop rag. No. Take your wife to therapy, pay for the therapy, support her through the therapy, and one day you won't have to live like this because this is not normal. I'm not going to call her an asshole because I think she does have some kind of phobia or something going on, but at some point she's got to take accountability for it, which the point has come. The time is now. Not your husband walking around here scared about his poop. This is just
and you're avoiding your niece because she's in diapers and stuff. Like, what is
they
this?
don't have kids. That answers that question.
I know, but still, even being around other people's kids, if you see a kid in a diaper, you have to leave. Like,
that's just insanity, honestly. I understand not wanting to be around poop all the time and bathe in it, but it sounds like this woman is thinking about poop and buttholes way more than anyone else is, just by trying so hard to avoid the fact that they exist.
And does she avoid her own? Like, was she just fine with her own? We still have one.
When she poops.
Is hers like naturally hairless or something? Like,
and that can't be unless that just can't be. You have to at least shave it or get it waxed or something.
You got to do something with it somewhere.
And if that's the case, then she's allowed to groom hers, but he can't groom. It's just insane. I think I'm getting
grooming hers because it's sounding like she's so afraid of buttholes that she won't even touch her own or something. Like, I'm worried for this girl and this guy.
She needs a bidet and a butt towel too.
I know the bidet is such a great invention. I don't know why that would be like, oh no, don't get that. Like, does she think the poop gets into the bidet? Does she not know how it works? I feel like it
I
needs to
don't
be
know.
explained to her, but she probably won't let it be explained to her because it has to deal with butts. So yeah, I think the
She probably
therapy is
tried.
good. Yeah. I think the
Yeah, and
therapy
he
is
needs
needed.
to stop. If she's gonna go to therapy, even if she's open to therapy, he needs to stop being so flexible. I get accommodating her, especially if she's having truly physical reactions to this. That's pretty intense. But to be doing all of this stuff and thinking about now moving your poop rag somewhere, you're doing too much too. This woman needs
Well,
to face her fear of buttholes.
exactly. At this point, you're just enabling her fear,
Yeah.
and she's not going to try to get better if you're just going to be moving poop rags around. She's going to have to come to terms with her butt at some point, because even
Yeah.
at one point, we're all going to get old and we won't even be able to control our bowels and stuff like that. She's going to
That's
be in
true.
some gross situations sometimes. I mean, at some point in your life, has she never crapped herself? Has she never woke up like with pee?
Right.
Not saying that I do, just
Or
saying
like,
that.
have you ever had like food poisoning, right? Like, I mean,
Yes.
sometimes as humans, nasty things happen, right? And it doesn't mean we want to think about it all the time or talk about it all day or share it with other people or be doing that all day. It's just part of our existence. It's how we get rid of waste. I don't know what else to tell you. There's no other way around it. No human has ever done it.
I'm gonna say not the asshole here, just because you can't be giving people no options. You at least give him an option yourself. Whatever works for you, give him that option. But don't
Yeah,
be
I
giving people no
definitely
options and then expect them to not tell you what they're doing about the options that you didn't give them. I don't know. This
true.
just feels, she was setting him up. It was a setup.
It was a total setup. I'm changing my vote. I definitely also go with not the asshole. I don't like his solution, but I don't think that it makes him an asshole. I think he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
His name is funny on here because it's called the Shitinator. He has responded to a lot of comments so far. It's a lot of scrolls. I'm not going to read every single one, but I will read some of them. So somebody said to OP, I'm pretty sure this has been posted before. And OP responded, I would love to talk to another individual who has been through this situation. Honestly, I'm at a loss.
I know. That's what I'm saying. No other person in the world is dealing with this, and it's her doing.
Yeah. And then somebody else commented under OP and said, same, their username isn't helping out with the legitimacy of their post either. And then OP responded, it's a throwaway since my wife follows me on my main account. And I thought this was funny. And the other person who responded second came back and said, oh, funny story. Maybe I'm confusing it with another one. Or I guess someone else had the same thing happen to them. In my opinion, you're not the asshole because it's kind of both of your faults. She kind of did it to herself. And someone else said, don't know why you bothered. This couldn't possibly be so common of a situation that your wife wouldn't know it's you if she sees it. And OP responded, apparently some people thought it was a repost, so maybe it is more common than I thought. She doesn't follow this sub, but she does check my main account to see stuff that I've posted on other subs. I don't think this is a very common situation. I don't know why. If this has already been posted about before, I'm at a loss on that. To be honest, that makes me speechless.
True. I too am speechless. I can't even believe that this would be a question of, is this a repost? I don't know. I got nothing to say about that.
So one of the comments got deleted that OP responded to, but somebody commented under it, said damp toilet paper crumbles, which is not the nicest experience, especially if you're hairy. So I'm guessing somebody asked him, why don't you just use the toilet paper and wet the toilet paper? And OP said, I do use toilet paper. The ass rag is just for a post paper cleanup. Wet toilet paper is gross, but maybe I don't know. I'm willing to take the judgment. This guy is so open. And
I agree though. Wet toilet paper is gross. Like I've used it to try to wipe off even the counter real quick, just grab the toilet paper, wet it.
Disintegrates.
Yeah, it just breaks up into pieces. You don't want to walk around with that all day.
Well, there's a reason why we can flush it, is because it turns into nothing once you get it wet.
Get it wet, yeah.
Someone else said, I'll probably read just 2 more comments here because he did comment on a lot. Okay, so somebody said, not the asshole. I'm wondering what her response would be if you were to ask her what she would do if she has poo on her hands. If she thinks wiping her hands with toilet paper is cleaner than washing her hands with at least water, then I don't know. Maybe she has some sort of fetish that I don't want to know about. At least the ass rag hanging behind the toilet, she said that she has been using as a washcloth. Who in their right mind would grab a torn up rag behind a toilet to clean dash dry their face? The only thing I might add is if you wash your shit rag at the sink, maybe you should clean the sink with soap and disinfect it every time you do so. If you haven't already but that is the only slightly gross thing that I can think of. It's definitely nowhere near as gross as a shitty butthole. OP responded, I do clean the sink with soap, but I don't know, some comments have me here thinking that it's still gross. I think we both need to bend a little here. Hopefully she's calmed down a bit by tomorrow so we can try and figure out a compromise. I never really pushed back on the bidet thing, but a lot of these comments are giving me ideas on how to convince her. Yeah, get a bidet. Like,
your first idea was your best idea.
just buy it. Don't even just install it.
She didn't want to know about it, so just buy it.
Just buy it and install it. That's your solution. The crap rag is a little gross. I know that there are a lot of people out there who try to save money by using rags instead of toilet paper. And usually, though, the whole house has a system for that, and that's on you. If you want to live your life that way, that's fine. If your whole family agrees on it, that's fine. But it seems like in this situation, this guy wants to do something normal, like buy a bidet. This wife is giving him literally no options, and now he's trying to think of one. Dean's cut up towels, I don't know how many times for stupid stuff, so that's exactly what he would do too. And Dean would also be doing the same thing this guy is doing and trying to still be accommodating, even though I'm being unreasonable.
I thought this husband was totally an asshole just because he had such a horrible solution to the problem, but I do take it back. I think he's just trying to work with what he has here. So
a person responded to him and said, people use reusable toilet paper made of cloth. So pretty much they're pretty printed butt rags. The period pads that they just throw into the washing machine to wash too. I personally think that it's a bit worse than washing your poopy rags at the sink, especially if you clean the sink with soap right after. But yeah, try to talk to your wife and see how it goes. Has she used a bidet before? What part of the bidet makes her think that it's gross? It would be just as gross as your toilet seat if you don't clean it. But as long as you clean it often, I don't see what the problem is. My partner went to my parents' place and used the bidet for the first time in his life, and he said that he has never felt his bumhole squeaky clean like that before.
Honestly,
like that after a poop before. And it
people
even dried his butt. It even dries.
Yeah.
Hopefully your wife can let you know why. That way you guys can agree on something here. And OP responded to that and said, I think she's more freaked out by the idea of her butthole getting squirted rather than anything else. We've had, oh my God, that sentence alone.
I know.
Sorry, I don't even know. Should I censor that sentence? Because out of context, that sounds horrible.
It's pretty rough.
We've had to leave parties early because our friend has a bidet and my wife says she's intimidated by it. I think just thinking about buttholes at all freaks just grosses her out for some reason. She knows that it isn't rational, but I've bent over backwards accommodating her, so she bent over back. Okay, I'm sorry. Accommodating her, so she has never really had to address it. I think it's time to make some changes here, though, both with her odd hangups and my inability to face any sort of conflict. This has been pretty eye-opening for me, and hopefully we can both grow from it. Yeah. Like you were saying, he's kind of like enabling her to still have this issue instead of just trying to face it head on. You got to leave your friend's house because they got a bidet. You don't even got to go in the bathroom. Why are you so intimidated by it? It's not like Suge Knight's there threatening you.
It's so crazy, honestly. I can't.
I went to hang out with Taylor for New Year's. She came down here to Texas, and we went to her ranch or whatever, and one of the houses had a bidet. I didn't know where Taylor was for like 10, 20 minutes. She walked out of there so happy. I was like, what are you doing?
They're not uncommon, and people love them. So I don't know. I feel like maybe one day his wife will, after some therapy, she'll probably like it too, and maybe she'll want her own. She can have the cleanest butthole ever. What makes the butthole less existent than it being so clean and happy?
Well, she's got a front part too, right? So, like, is that hole cleaner than the butthole to her? Like, is she okay with her front hole and not her back hole? Like, I have so many questions for this girl, honestly. Something might have happened where she saw a butt and it was, I don't know. Did you see something? Did you get traumatized by something? Like, she's got to go to therapy.
Therapist to talk to this through. But that's all we have for you today, Chick Chatters, on that story.
Yeah,
not the spicy one I thought. But
I would read a little bit more on the comments, but there's so many, and Brooke's in a hurry. So
I am in a hurry. Maybe we'll circle back to that one. We might have to do an update here, but they're gonna think about therapy. He's thinking about not being so accommodating, which I think is a good thing, even though it's not going to feel good to her.
Nobody should be living in fear with a butt rag hanging behind the toilet, afraid to talk about buttholes and stuff like that. I mean, it's just a part of life. We're all humans. We all have bodies. She has a body with the same parts. I would just be happy that my man cares to clean his ass, to be honest with you.
So true.
And that he wants a bidet. Just buy the bidet, put it in, install it while she's not even home.
Yeah, if anything, take second bathroom out, not your weird butt rag. But.
Right, and I'm sure in therapy they'll teach her how to take steps towards being okay with the butthole. Maybe be in the same room as the butthole. Maybe you know what I mean?
Think about a butthole.
Think about.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many things. And since this post is only 12 hours old, we probably will do an update on it, and I'm going to follow it. It's saved in my stuff.
Cool. We should post our video on it too. So
we will. We're going to share this video just like we usually do if it's within the certain time. But
well, thanks for joining us, Chick Chatters. Don't forget to comment. Let us know if you've ever dealt with this, heard of this. It's pretty interesting and unique to me, but I don't know, maybe. But don't forget to also like and share and subscribe if you want to hear some more from us.
And we got a lot of good comments in our last video, and we appreciate it because we like to see all the different views and takes. And it's not often we have like a ton of comments on a video, so keep it up. We like to hear your opinions.
We're really excited.
And this one's a spicy one, so I'm sure somebody's got some opinions here that probably are different than ours. This is definitely different for our channel. We do a wild card every now and then, but this is probably the more wild of the story of the weeks. But thank you for joining us, and we will catch you next week.
Bye.